Hello mates, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be looking at tattoos inspired by one of my favourite TV shows, Stranger Things, and rating them out of 10. 10 being the best, that is absolutely gorgeous, it's like it was sculpted by Michael fucking Angelo or some shit. And 1 being the worst, that it looks like it was done with a bucket and spade by a Demogorgon. Demogorgon is a Stranger Things reference. I'm going to add the usual disclaimer that all of this shit is just my opinion. I'm by no means a tattoo expert, I'm not a tattoo artist, just another prick on the internet who happens to really like tattoos. So if you disagree with me, don't get your knickers in a twist, because I will freely admit I'm a clown who knows nothing about nothing. Also, for those wondering what this sexy accent is, I'm in fact British, and therefore I have a very British sense of humour and love to take the piss, but don't mean any offence by it. Say less. Let's get into it. So first up, we have this lovely little bit of trad. So this is the character of Dustin Henderson, played wonderfully by Gaten Matarazzo. It's his head and neck, but his face has been replaced by a Demogorgon with his head all opened up and its teeth out and that. He's wearing one of his little baseball caps, and we have a little flower incorporated at the bottom of the design. We then have Stranger above and Things below. So let's get into this. First of all, I love the inclusion of the flower and how its composition is reminiscent of the Demogorgon's face. Not sure if that is a happy accident or if this was just done by a really clever tattoo artist. Not gonna lie, I'm well chuffed with myself for picking up on that. It's the first time in ages that I've done something that made me feel clever. I also love the cross hatching on the back of the hat. That's done super well with the lines and the shading. The hair looks great as well. The flower is definitely my favourite element of this tattoo though. Overall, I think the composition of the tattoo is good. It's fairly easy to read for an abstract tattoo. The line work and the shading are pretty good, and I'd be very happy to own this tattoo. 7 out of 10. Next up, we have this blackwork portrait of Eleven, played by the insanely talented Millie Bobby Brown. So this is Eleven from season 1 of the show, where she's wearing the pink dress with the white collar. I'm sure we've all seen people go to Halloween parties in this costume. It's probably the most famous image from the show. She's giving you the death stare, and she's got blood running out of her nose from where she's just used her powers. Let's get into this. First of all, this is very black. There is some really super saturated shading in this shit, and I'm here for it. The line work is a little bit ropey, especially around the collar, but it's not bad. I'm sure we've all seen way worse line work than this, so I'll give it a pass. I really love the use of shadow down one side of the face, which gives a huge amount of contrast and makes for a much more dynamic tattoo, with half of her face in darkness and the other in light. That's been executed pretty damn well. I love the little bit of dot work that's on her right ear and on the right side of the collar to transition from the black to the clean skin. That's dope. Overall, this is a pretty fucking cool tattoo. 8 out of 10. Next up, we have this fine line illustrative style Polaroid tattoo featuring the characters of Mike, played by Finn Wolfhard, and Eleven, played by Millie Bobby Brown. This is from the Snowball dance from the end of season 2. They're dancing, and we have some festoon lights in the background and snowflakes, and then text on the bottom of the Polaroid. Let's get into this. So first of all, the thing that really stands out to me is the choice to use the clean skin to show the bulbs from the festoons in the background. That's dope as fuck and a really effective way to show that. I love the stipple shading on the hair, even though Mike's hair definitely looks like a schlong, a tool, a member, a gentleman sausage, a wang, a phallus, chopper, a todger, willy, and that's me out of penis euphemisms. But his hair does look like a bell end. Oh look, that was one that we missed. But yeah, the stipple shading, real nice. This is really well done and makes me super nostalgic for a period of time that happened before I was even born. Oh, those were simpler times, man. 9 out of 10. Next up, we have a black and grey realism portrait of Eleven. This has evidently come from the same reference photo as the blackwork portrait we looked at earlier. Like I said, that is probably the most famous image from the show. She's mean mugging, she's got the blood dripping from her nose, and she's in that famous disgusting dress. So let's get into this. So this is a pretty solid black and grey piece. It's readable. I love the background, the highlights, the shading on her hair and dress. It's probably my favourite part of this tattoo. Just really solid work. It's a portrait that looks like the person it's supposed to look like. What more could you possibly want? 9 out of 10. Next up, we have this tattoo of the Hellfire Club logo. The Hellfire Club is of course the guys' D&D club from season 4. The logo is the demon head surrounded by a sword on one side, a mace on the other, and then above the head we have 2 dice. And above all that, we have the words Hellfire Club. This logo makes for a very nice traditional style tattoo. Let's get into it. So first of all, this is super clean. The artist has changed up a few things from the logo to the tattoo. For example, Hellfire Club has a mixture of red and black used in this tattoo, whereas the logo has all black text originally. There's also the use of a little bit of dark brown in the handle on the mace and the sword to give it a kind of wood effect, whereas originally, again, these are all black. Some artistic license has been taken in order to translate this from a t-shirt logo to a tattoo, and they've done a really great job. The line work is great, as is the shading. You can tell a lot of love has gone into this. 8 out of 10. Next up, we have this colour portrait of Eddie Munson, played by fellow British fella, Joseph Quinn. This geezer, I think, is everyone's favourite character after season 4, and Joseph did a wonderful job of playing him. So this tattoo shows Eddie in the famous devil horns, tongue out pose. I walked past the guy in the street the other day who just stopped and did this in front of me, so that's how you know something has transcended pop culture. Then around Eddie, we have flames either side of him, and above we have text that reads Hellfire Club, and below Eddie we have the text that reads "This is music." So let's get into this. So first of all, this tattoo appears to be in someone's knee ditch, which I cannot even begin to imagine how much you must have suffered to get this onto you. If you're watching and you own this tattoo, massive props to you. The portrait is well done. It looks like the person it represents, and the artist did a really good job with the hands/fingers. Most of the time, tattoo artists seem to try and avoid including fingers or hands in a tattoo because they're quite difficult to get them to look right, but the artist did a really great job with these. The fire looks great, the eyes really pop, the text is really well done, and overall, this is a really nice tattoo. 8 out of 10. I'm being really positive about these tattoos, which makes me think maybe I should have found some really awful ones to talk about as well. Oh well, next time. Next up, we have this neo-traditional style portrait of Steve the Hare Harrington, played by the scintillating Joe Keery. What a character arc for Steve, am I right? From season 1 to season 4, what a journey that character has been on. So we have this portrait of Steve wearing Ray-Bans with a baseball with nails through it on his back against this green background. And to round this all off nicely, we have the word daddy at the bottom. Steve is my daddy. So let's get into this. So first of all, this does very much look like Steve, which you would think would be the bare minimum for a portrait, but cannot be taken for granted. Now we do have to remember that this is a fresh tattoo and therefore the colours will look different once it's healed, but I cannot help but think Steve's skin looks weird, mate. Like, especially on his forehead, it looks like there's a massive bruise across his forehead. Also, his chin is weird looking as well. It looks much more pronounced than Joe's chin in real life, and I'm not into that. Apart from that, I think the rest of the tattoo is pretty good. The background looks great, the hair looks pretty good, and the baseball bat is especially very well done. The daddy doesn't look particularly great. The white looks a bit haphazard to me, but it's definitely not awful. 5 out of 10. Lastly, we have the return of Mr. Munson in this blackwork style tattoo. This obviously is based on the really famous scene where Eddie plays Master of Puppets on top of the trader when they're in the Upside Down. We have a black silhouette of Eddie playing the song and then a hand above to represent the Puppet Master with lightning coming off the hand instead of string. Let's get into it. So this is a really nice portrayal of that scene and all the elements that are at play. I love the use of contrast between all black Eddie, the red and the white lightning, and the line work hand. These things don't feel like they should all belong together, but I'm into it. I love how saturated the black ink is on Eddie and how sparingly white has been used throughout to show the separation between the guitar and his body as well as his face and his torso. The lightning looks great. Again, I love the use of white ink in this to add more dynamics to the image, and the hand also looks pretty great. The line work on the hand is clean, the lines are used sparingly and effectively, and overall, this is a really nice image. 7 out of 10. Right, so that was me rating Stranger Things themed tattoos out of 10. Overall, this one was quite positive, which was giving me kind of a funny feeling in my tummy because I'm so used to being a bastard in these videos, so there may need to be a part 2 to this video. Give this video a like and hit the subscribe button and all that other YouTube bollocks for more tattoo related nonsense like this. I plan on doing more of these rating tattoo videos. They're good fun for me because I love being a judgy little dickhead. If you like the music that you're hearing in the background, it was actually all produced by me. I have another channel where I post beats/instrumentals for singers to write songs to. So if that is something you're interested in, I'll put a link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.